Hello, everyone, and thank you guys for tuning in today for another episode of Grief Let's Talk About It podcast. I am Tony Lynch. I am your host. I am here to bring you another amazing guest, Irene Baxberg, and she's going to talk about her childhood and the things that she had to endure growing up, and but also starting a company and all the challenges that came with that, and of course, she has an amazing journey. So, without further ado, let me introduce my guest, Irene.
Hi, thank you so much, Tony, for allowing me to be on your platform and letting me share my story.
Yes, of course, man. Thank you. The honor is all mine. Thank you for coming on and wanting to share your story with the audience. So, before we get into your story, let everybody know who you are and where you're from.
My name is Irene Vaxberg. I just turned 55 years old.
Yay!
Oh
Crazy.
my God, I lived half a century plus. I was born in the former Soviet Union. I came to United States when I was 12 years old. We landed up in Providence, Rhode Island. I went through high school there and adolescence. And at 18 years old, I moved to Los Angeles, California to pursue my lifelong dream of becoming a hairdresser.
Nice, nice,
Yeah.
very nice. Now, you said something interesting because you grew up in a time where it was really difficult, especially being in what'd you say, Russia,
Yes, former Soviet Union.
former
Yes.
Soviet Union, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Now it's Russia.
and
Yeah.
that was as a child, right? So, what was it like? What was it like growing up back, when it was former Soviet Union?
Complicated. Jewish, right? And it wasn't um, th- at that time. It wasn't so easy to be Jewish in former Soviet Union.
Right.
The racism, the prejudice, the exclusion, all of that was part of growing up. At 12 years old, I've heard some um, names calling and things like that, but it became more difficult when my parents decided to leave Russia or
Right.
former Soviet Union because people were aware they were like, you know, Jewish because in 1979, the only people that could leave Russia was Jewish people.
Mm. Now, let me ask you a question pertaining to what's going on over there right now. And then we'll jump back into it. But I just want to get your opinion. What do you think about what's happening over in Russia right now and the war with Ukraine?
Oh, it's absolutely terrible. I
Yeah,
think what's happening in the world right now is
yeah,
terrible. Yes, I am a Jewish person, um, but I believe that for me, it's about one human race. For me, it's about why we're fighting about piece of land. It's about and really I haven't spoken a lot about it because I don't know how to put it into words, but it makes me really sad that the Jewish people and what's happening at this moment, how it's not right.
right.
The
Yes,
slogan that the community, and again, there's many communities within the community, right?
right.
Um, talk about never again and what it was done to us. It was reminded as children, the Holocaust. My grandparents lost family, and my grandfather had numbers, and we were so sad that the world ignored us. But and it was horrible that 6 million Jewish people died just because of being Jewish.
Right.
But I feel like they're repeating history that was done to them. And for me, actually the Jewish people even in Israel do not want this. And
Right.
let's if we remove the politics, people want to live in peace, people want to
This is
live in
very true.
harmony, but w- war makes money, right?
Unfortunately, it does.
and and
Unfortunately.
the politics of how everything is intertwined is the complicated part about it.
Mm,
Palestinian people should have peace and allowed to live as human beings, right? It democracy in Israel, there's no democracy when one culture, one religion, um,
mm,
is being basically under surveillance 24/7. Like, I feel the way the not the people but the government, right? The government, we have to separate the people from, and of course some support it, right, but majority don't, is that then they don't live in freedom, right? Like, I didn't live in freedom. Like, I couldn't go to good school, I couldn't, educate myself, I couldn't be a doctor or lawyer, but like, to give my point of view, I know how it feels to be prejudiced against me.
right.
I
Yeah.
came to United States. Nobody cared that I was Jewish. People cared that I was Russian at the time because there was a Cold War, and then there was a plane bomb, and they hated me. And then I became in style again. And I promised myself I will never ever judge anyone,
Mm,
right, by what God they live, what color of their skin, whatever. I know how it feels, and I would not want to put that on anyone else because I get the pain of it, right? I was
right.
bullied
Yes.
for not speaking proper English. I was bullied that I looked differently, even though America is a melting pot. Um, it's wrong. I'm about peace. I'm about taking actions of communication. Don't pick up a weapon, and but pick up, love and kindness and empathy. And I also feel like the media has a lot to do with it. And all of my whole entire life, I've been telling people racism is taught, right? Like, we're not born that way. We're told that certain group of people, or culture, or that ethnicity, they're good, this is bad, blah 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 blah. Kids play together, they don't see anything, right? It's when we
This is
become
true.
adults that, the society, or there's some sort of I don't even know. I don't even have words because I don't live in that kind of world. I live in unity, and I teach my children the same way, that, judge people by character, but not what God they're praying, right?
Right. Right.
You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
and so today I stand with interview. I'm on freedom for Palestinian people. I am Jewish. I love my people, but what, we have to speak out when there's wrong, right?
This is very true.
Yes. What?
Being a young black male in America, I've experienced it on all ends. I think the racism that's here, and don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who want to say that, oh, it's going away, if this, that, and the other. It all depends on what shoes you're wearing. It
And
really
that's
does.
and that's exactly what I was going to say. I tell people, until you walk in somebody's shoes, you can't judge, right? What happened in Israel is horrible. It's horrible what it did. 1,400 innocent people died. Had nothing to do with politics, right? But what it's doing now, it is beyond. It's beyond. Like, it's beyond. But I also encourage people to speak to someone that they never spoken to. Take time every day, or whenever you can, to speak to someone that has different views and beliefs and live in a different neighborhood. I think prejudice and racism and wars happen because we don't understand each other, because we think we're so different and we're afraid of it. The more you learn about somebody's culture, traditions, the way they live, the more you know that we're not that different. Lost. Lost the host. Let me.
Yeah. Ooh,
Hi.
sorry about that. We got
That's
jumped
okay.
jumped off of StreamYard there for a minute.
Yeah, that's all.
Sorry
Like,
for
oh my
those
God,
who are
I'm
tuning
talking in
in.
the air.
Yeah,
But
no, I was looking. I was like, oh, well, okay, it just kicked us off.
yeah, I just sent you a message. But so anyway, so I feel like if each individual person took a little time to go learn about another culture, and I think we have a better world. I
Yes,
think
that
we
is
have a
that's very
better
true.
world. And fear makes you prejudice, right? And we
Yes,
also have to say that the society, the movie industry, the media has to project different cultures in a different light. They have a lot input. I mean, that's a whole other conversation that we can have another time. But it's sad. It breaks my heart. It saddens me because in my world, you know we all want, like the song "Where Are the World."
uh-huh. Oh, yeah, I mean, in my world, I think we, like we have as a human race, we have the opportunity to change things. And if we can start to look at each other as people and respect each other as individuals with opinions and ideas and our own our own way of living and thinking, to be able to accept that is going to be the key to us, not only just evolving but surviving as a human race, right?
Yeah,
Because and not allowing the simple things in life to divide us, because
yeah,
not everything has to be a fight, not everything has to be, hated or things like that. Just because I don't agree with you just means that I don't agree with you. That's all that means, right?
yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
mean doesn't mean we have to, go into different ways and hate each other. I don't,
Absolutely. But I also think that what's happening right now all over the world, right? Not just in Ukraine, not just in Israel, but Congo. There's such a big movement of old, young, middle age, all kinds of ages,
yes, yes,
especially the youth. I mean, if you see, it gives me hope. It gives me, this conversation is so perfect to see all of those demonstrations. 10
right,
years ago, 5 years ago, you would never see this kind of love, international, worldwide, speaking
right.
out, bringing us together. And some, like, from my own journey, right? Like, my most difficult moment became my brightest light. And I think what's happening now, from this difficult moment, horrendous moment, all over the world. I mean, I think
Mhm.
we have genocides happening in 3 different continents. We're
Yes.
going to become that better world, right? Knowledge is power. And the problem also with the media for me is selective um,
Mm,
news coverage, right?
yes,
Once we
yes.
talking about what's happening in Congo, right? The women, the children, they're being evicted and raped and starved. And I mean, prior to the war, a couple of days before Israel, I mean, Armenian genocide, they were pushed out from Pakistan. I mean, 120,000 people had to leave their little area. Like, we don't hear about that anymore. Like, they're now living in some sort of a camp. Like, I mean, do you see how
Yeah,
it all works? Because
I
I
do.
mean,
Yeah.
and that, again, when we get into politics, it's become this big thing, and
It
I try
does.
to function on the soul and empathy and more of humanity, right? Like politics, religion in many ways divide us, not unite us, right? As
Right.
growing up, I mean, look what happened to us in Russia, right? Like Belarus, that because of the religion, there was a division, and
Right.
people didn't want us there. I was born in that country, and they were telling me to go to my country. Where's my country? I was
Yeah.
born here. I'm a citizen of former Soviet Union per se, right? So yeah, it should be our country, not yours or mine. Like we need to,
But
but
there's a lot of things that we have to learn as well, right? Because I do agree, the United States is a melting pot. Now, for a lot of um, for a lot of African Americans that are here, right? Our history has been erased, and
absolutely.
we've been told lies about where we actually come from, or and things like that. And so, and I totally agree. In order for us to move on, we have to first erase what they've told us and teach the real history, because there's people like myself that actually know now the real history.
Well,
We know where we come from, what I'm saying, and we know that we don't come from another land,
yeah.
you know and so and so throughout, since we were kids, we was told that Christopher Columbus discovered America, and what I'm saying, that the Native Americans was here, and things like that. We now know nowadays that that's not true, right? We now know through history, through different countries and things like that, through artifacts that have been around since billions and millions and millions of years. We now know that, hey, there's a huge chunk of history that has been rewritten. And I get it, to a certain extent. And so my thing is that in order for us to move forward, we have to, one, learn about each other. We have to learn about our culture so we can understand what are our similarities. What I'm saying? How can we incorporate, what I'm saying, ourselves, and make this to where everybody's welcome and included in everything that's going on, to make it feel as if we all belong,
Oh, I
right?
agree. And you
Yeah.
made a good point, because the last 3 weeks I have learned so much more about the Israel and how it all evolved and how it all
Hmm.
began. I mean, I knew some of it, but you don't learn until you must, right? Like, and
Right,
I
right.
think it needs to be a other way around. But again, I mean, politics. Look, they're taking books away,
This is
right? Like
true.
they whitewashing everything, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it breaks my heart that the new, I mean, again, it breaks my heart that's where we are, but I also have faith in the youth that they going to do much better. I'm on that. I mean, I'm planning to live for another 55 years, but
Hey, you know what? I'm be right there with you. We do a
yes,
podcast.
and I'm hoping that we will see that what I have in my own little mind and how I see the world, that it will come to provision. And it will, because we are create our own world. Where I live and how I interact with humans is just exactly how I describe. It's United Nations. We are one. We know that there's a difference between us, but there's more similarity. We acknowledge the difference, and we embrace that we are different. We embrace that we come from different countries, and we did all the shades of rainbow, that we do speak different languages, and that's the community I live. We don't see each other as enemy. We actually see each other as, you know,
Right.
soul brothers and sisters. I know, as cheesy as that sounds,
No,
you
no, but
know.
it's true though. It's very true, right? Which we went off topic a little bit, but I think that's
That's
perfect.
okay.
We're
We
having a great
didn't
conversation.
actually, Tony. We didn't go on topic. This is exactly where the energy brought us, right? I believe nothing is
Right, right,
coincidental.
exactly.
Everything happens for a reason, and whatever the world needs to hear, right? That's where
Hmm.
we are.
Hey man, I love that. I love that because I think it ties into your journey as well, right? because the person that you are now, and how you got there, I think it ties into how the world is nowadays, right? Because
Yeah,
you've had the opportunity to see the world change, in your years, and so have I. I may be
yeah,
just a tad bit younger than you, but I've seen it from a different perspective, and we both are affected about what's going on in the world.
yeah,
But our
yeah.
journeys and the things that we've gone through,
Yeah, and
right?
I say to people, and I just did a live before I jumped on you, is that pain is pain, struggle is struggle. No, you should not
Exactly.
compare it. What you experience is your truth and your journey, and what I experience is my. It's your pain is not less or more than mine. Pain
Right.
is pain, right? Like mental, physical, emotional. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts, and
Yeah.
nobody should minimize it. Honor that pain because that pain taught us something tremendous. Our journeys, if it all was like sunny and rosy, we would not be who I am today. And actually, just came from an incredible trip celebrating my birthday and celebrating my life, living with that chronic pain. 6 years and celebrating my car accident and disappointed with 13 years since my car
Right.
accident. It was the day after my birthday, and I'm sitting celebrating with friends, and then I get this text message. My person, the gentleman that I ran my chair from, says to me, "Hey Irene, yeah, I know you paid me for this week's, but next month you can't work here, basically." And that, yeah, and that took me by like, huh? What happened? Like, how, it's sort of like I got a pink slip over a text.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in the midst of my joy, this like a bomb, you know, was landed on my lap, and I sat there for a second. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll figure it out on Monday. I'm not here. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, door just closed and another just about to open. Is it stressful? A little bit, because I had to, by the end of the week, I have to have a place to work. But through my struggle, and through my car accident where I lost the six-figure business, pretty much, that's a big worry. What I
Right.
have
Right.
now compared to what, the struggle, and yes, I don't know where I'm going to work, but I'm going to find something. uh it taught me how to react to this, right? To this little
Right. Right.
bump in the
Exactly.
in the road. I don't have to have a heart attack. Yes, you may pay $20 more, but everything is figurable. Like I don't have to move 500 people. I only have to move 30. So it taught
Very, very
me
true.
how to,
Yes.
right? It taught me how to react with calmness, not anxiety, and give myself a heart attack.
Right.
And I've had
Now,
few of them, not literally, but metaphorically.
oh yeah, because life is full of surprises, and sometimes I think that's the beautiful, beautiful part about life, right? Because we go through it, and we may in our mind have how we would like to see life, right? And I think that's the funniest thing I've ever done. Like this is where I see my life going. And life came back and said, "Oh yeah, this is where you are going, right?" And so, and I can relate to what you just said. Going through those things, having those experiences has helped me build up a foundation that has helped me adapt to the unexpectancy, right? Of how life can come and go. Hey, this is what we're going to do right now. And so I learned, and just like yourself, and we'll get more into the hair salon, because I'm curious, and because I want to know how long you've been doing it, because we talked about this before. You've been doing it for quite some time when
Yeah,
you moved over to the United States. But I think our challenges in life has helped us learn how to pivot,
pivot.
you know pivot and go in the right, follow life's lead, because sometimes life will take you down a path where you never even thought, but it takes you to the destination that you need to go in order
Oh,
to be
you
who
give
you
me
need to be.
goosebumps.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
give me
and you
goosebumps.
understand that, right? You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Because
a
you
hundred
know
percent.
I never, just like yourself, you got into doing being a hairstylist, right? And you've been doing that since you were very, very young. So you
16.
know you jumped right into it and actually was able to live your dream, even though throughout that course you've had to go and go through your fair share of challenges, your accident, and things like that. So let's go back a little bit. How long have you been being a hairstylist since
So
you?
I've been doing it since I was 16, and I'm
Okay,
55.
okay, so you've been
Quite
doing
a
it
bit
for
of time,
close.
38 years or something, 39. I don't know. I've lost count.
Yeah, but you jumped into your dream, of doing exactly with that, right? Now, since 16, how was the journey up until your accident, and when did that happen?
So the journey was incredible. I'm that kind of person. When I have a goal, it's one track mind. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what's in front of me. My friends used to tease me I'm the like that Russian tank, and I just keep on going. I just keep on going till I
Super
get
amazing.
to where I need to be. So yeah, so I took some curveballs. I took some road less travel. I got married at 21. Had a baby at 9 months later, got divorced at 23, became a single mother, but the dream was still to continue going towards my dream is
Mhm.
owning my own salon. That is the American dream, right? The dream was to work for Josiah Bear. That's why I came to California from Los Angeles. I mean, I from Rhode Island to work for him. And I had an opportunity. I did get the job, but it wasn't for me.
Right.
It was too full fee, and I wanted to cut hair for canned foods and donate to the local shelter. And I didn't see myself doing that, but I found a location that allowed me to do exactly what I needed to do. I worked there almost 20 years. Then I had my own salon. Then I got married again. I created my dream with my own salon, having an art music, like an art center, a place for people just come in, have a cup of coffee, and a safe haven for women and men. Obviously, it was more women, but it was a community. I rented it out, did no charge for nonprofit organizations. And so I loved it. I saw my name in lights, and that's what I promised my dad for his name to be in lights because he didn't have any boys. And it was beautiful to be able to show that the American dream can be possible. My mom and my dad sacrificed so much that they gave up so much for us to be able to live in this country. Yes, there's a lot of issues in this country, but I know where I was born, I would not be able to live the life that I'm living today.
Right.
So, you have to take good and the bad and the ugly, but I am very grateful to be living here in United States of America for almost 43 years this December. And so I again got married, I got divorced, became a single mother of two, had to sell my salon, went back to the original location in Beverly Hills, rebuilt my business again. I was in a really great place, did my healing, did my therapy, was about to go out there, fall in love. That was my last that was my last little piece that I needed in my life. And then my car accident happened 13 years ago on my 43rd birthday.
Wow. Wow. Now, during that car accident changed your life a lot, right? Because
Yeah.
since then you've had to have your challenges with the doctors, your health, and things like that. Take us back to that moment when that accident happened. How did that accident happen?
So
We talked about it briefly.
yeah, so my girlfriend, dear friend, picked me up. We were gonna go home, change. Her family was gonna come with us. My friends, I had a couple of customers that had the same birthday at the same time, and we never got there. A gentleman fell asleep behind the wheel and T-boned us. Instead of going and celebrating my birthday, I ended up being in ER, and my life was never the same. Um, the journey of chronic pain, anxiety, depression, losing myself mentally, physically, emotionally, financially,
Mhm.
um, began. It was dark. I've never been in a place that difficult, and I've been in some difficult places, but either I had the mental capacity or the financial capacity. Here all was gone pretty much. Whew,
It's
it
hard.
was hard. It was really really difficult for me to even think. I've lost hope. The only thing I saw, everything was disappearing. My friends that I thought my friends, um, customers left that I've supported for so long and gave them all. And when they were going through difficult moments, I wouldn't charge them or give them a discount. And in my difficult moment, pretty much there was no one there to hold my hand. And the only dates that I had was with doctors that um, didn't care per se. I
Mhm.
felt like I was a number, and no bedside matters, and just like it got to a point where like I had to use legal words in order to get care. And when your pain is not acknowledged, and it hurts, right? Like we talked about,
Yes. Yes.
don't walk in, don't judge until you walk in somebody's shoes. Yes, I looked great from outside, thank goodness no bone broken, but my internal damage, meaning sympathetic nerve, was a damage. I had a lumbar tear. I have L1 through 5 damage. I mean, it took 3 years of struggle to diagnose me with the lumbar tear.
Mm.
I mean, I saw specialists and my body was on fire, and they're telling me breathe. I don't feel my toes or my feet. I walk like a penguin. And they just minimized everything that I was going through. And in meantime, I'm losing my health, I'm losing my mindset, I'm losing my business, I'm losing everything that I worked so hard for.
Right.
And 3 years into it, I'm still in pain. I'm getting epidurals, I'm getting hip injections, I'm on Vicodin, I'm on Norcom, all this, heavy duty drugs. They're just making me basically drugged up. I felt like I was like walking as a zombie, but I was still in pain. Like I still needed that epidural, right? And you have to beg for them. Like it's not easily to get them. There's so many hoops and loops you have to jump through. It was really tough. And then because of so much neglect, and I had to learn all of that. My neurology, I've learned that the pain comes from your brain, from your central nervous system,
Yeah.
right? I didn't know any of that. It basically crushed. It was in so much pain, and it was dealing with so much that it could not handle the pain, and it had to release it. And the way it released it was by shaking and spasms. So
Mm.
my life went from worse to worser, because I literally became a prisoner of my body,
Right.
because I didn't know when I would start shaking or stop shaking. And my daughter became my caregiver in many ways.
Right. Wow.
And that wasn't bad enough. I would need a morphine drip. I had no life. I basically went home to work to customers, and sometimes that took hours and hours, and they would not come back. And then I would go into the emergency room and beg for some relief. And they called me a drug addict, and they told me I was faking. And there's nothing worse than a, a doctor that's old enough to be your daughter or son telling you to breathe, right? Like, oh, you just stressed. Like, you don't know what stress is. And when it's, I felt like I wasn't seen. It's, when they minimize your pain so much.
Yeah.
and treat you like nothing, it's hurtful, right? Like it's hurtful, when a 27 years old says, "Oh, just stressed out." Or they give you this morphine drip and your body is relaxed and they come on check and you say, "Oh, you're not shaking anymore." Well, yeah, you just gave me morphine. Like I
Right.
should be, like I should be passed out. Forget about shaking. I should be able to move. So it was hard. And then on top of that, when doctors don't, and I'm not bad mouthing doctors. I mean, I had some incredible ones that really cared, but they just didn't know what to do. Their hands is tied because they have to follow certain protocol.
Yeah. I get that, and I feel your pain so deeply, and thank you for sharing that, because there's not only myself, but I'm sure there's other people out there that can relate to that as well. That brings me back to a time where when my son was in the hospital fighting his overdose, right? And the doctors, instead of listening to his mom and I, telling them, "Hey, this is what's in the bottle, right? Treat him for this." They pretty much took our word and was like, "Oh yeah, we heard you, but we're going to treat him for everything else, right? Except for that." And it was so disheartening, because
Yeah.
when they find out that, hey, you were wrong, we didn't even get an apology. We didn't get, hey, we made a mistake or anything like that. They just looked and said, "Oh, well, like these things happen." Like, no, it didn't have to happen this way. It did not have to happen this way. If you would have just listened to, and in your case, you have these young doctors, and look, I'm not talking bad. There's some that do their job very, very well. I too have had some really good doctors, right? That went the extra mile and said, "Hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that everything is going to be okay." And I appreciate those doctors. I
Yeah.
appreciate those doctors that held on to their oath and their commitment to make sure that they do serve the people that come in through their doors, with the utmost kindness, and to the utmost of their ability. I enjoy those doctors. It's the ones that cut the corners, that said, "Oh, I have a PhD, you don't, so I know what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. So I'm right, you're wrong," type thing. That right there needs to stop, because in your case, that could have went in a very, very different way. It could have been very, very fatal, and it was fatal, right? Here you are, your nervous system is collapsing, is crushed, right? And look how long it took for them to diagnose you and get you the proper treatment to get you where you needed to be.
And they didn't diagnose me properly. They just threw me from one person to another and told me, "Sorry, Miss Wagsberg, we cannot help you. You're going to be in a wheelchair most likely, and let us know when we can give you a prescription for the next epidural, cortisone shot, or Vicodin." I had enough drugs. I could have sold out and bought three mansion in Beverly Hills.
Wow.
Right? Like I mean, for 3 years they just wrote those prescriptions, right? 4 years, different prescriptions.
Right.
And and um and and tell you the truth, what gave me my life back was not a pill. It was a completely drug-free product that was given to me
Talked about this. Yeah.
6 years ago when I sat there in my last, like, depression. I felt like I was in a quicksand, that everything was falling apart, that I was mad with God. For the first time ever in my life, I asked, "Why me?" I've never ever in my life asked why me, because I would never want any human being to go through my pain. And I've been in a lot of shitty situations, but I've never wished that. I always felt that God gives me this pain and this torch to carry. He knows I can handle it and that I
Right.
can help others. I am a hairdresser, right? It's all about taking care of others. And but this time, because everything was falling apart, it wasn't just one, it was mental, physical, emotional. And I felt broken, and I felt like, who's gonna love me? How I'm gonna find a partner? Who's gonna want to be with me? And then I went on dates, and this crazy guys would just leave me in the middle of a restaurant, shaking and spasm, and I was just so awful. And like I was like, I cannot do this. I'm full of life, and I am full of joy, and I am passionate, and I love life, and I cannot do anything that I want to do. I want, and I prayed to die. I asked God to take me away. There were days that I would sit there, look at my drugs, and I am Russian, bottles of vodka, it's cold, and I'm like, how much would it take for me to go? And I would
Right.
go, God, please, just take me away. But this damn little voice kept on saying, no, 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 keep praying. And this one day that I said that, I was like, I have nothing left of me. Like, I have nothing left. That day was super bad. I was struggling. I was waiting. My case was about to close, and I promised my daughter I was going to take her to Europe, and none of that was happening for graduation. Like, how am I going to go to Europe? How am I going to get on a plane? How am I going to do this? Like, I'm a nuisance to my daughter. And I said, I can't imagine her taking care of me. As a parent, we're supposed to take care of our children, not other way. And I said, I'm done. But this little voice said, Irene, please, one more prayer. And I'm like, okay. I said, God, you have two choices now. Either take me away, but if you're going to keep me, not in this body. I said, I want something drug-free, non-invasive, no chemicals, no side effect. I said, I'm tired of being poked and x-rayed and MRI'd and called crazy and called all kinds of, uh, things, and doctors are not believing me. I said, it can be expensive. I'm $15,000 in debt of trying all kinds of gadgets. Nothing has worked. And I said, if it's a business, because I can't imagine doing hair, and I'm losing customers left and right. And even if there's something that they can help, my body is probably not going to be full cooperating. Make sure the business has a mission, purpose, and passion, and people
Mhm.
first, and everything else is second, and affordable, right? Affordable for me to do it, and and affordable for others. And I released it. I said, it's up to you. Whatever you choose, I'm okay with it. But if you choose to keep me and answer my prayers, I just want to, I told him, this is the conversation we got. I was honest. I don't believe in you anymore, I said. I have no more faith left.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm doing this one more prayer because there's something inside of me says I'm supposed to, but I've made peace to die.
Nice.
And it's just, it was like every time I say it, I feel horrible because that's not who I am. Like, I never have given up. Like, every time I relieve this little piece of me, kind of dies and heals at the same time. It's so weird. But 4 months later, a dear friend of mine found this product, and she said, I don't know what it's going to do, but here it is. I said, I don't want it. And if people that listening, that live in chronic pain, they get it because we learn how to live with our pain, right? We've
Right.
learned how to manage it. We know what hurts us. We know what, if we move the wrong way, we're done for the day, right? So I didn't want to be disappointed again. That would be more painful than the pain that I'm living in. But my beautiful friend decided to send it to me anyway. And it came to me in the worst time. I was waiting for my 10th epidural. I was waiting to do it till the last moment. So I can't do this with my daughter,
Mhm.
take her to Europe as her gift. And I'm going to show you. It's not this one, but it's a similar sock. This little orange thing gave me my life back.
Wow.
I put it on, and I stopped shaking. I took it off, and I would shake again. And I did it for 20 minutes. I didn't understand what I was doing, what was happening. This calmness came over me, this peace came over me. And I'm like, oh my God. And I walked like for 30 minutes, and I called her. I said, oh my God. And I'm crying. Am I laughing? And she said, are you okay? Are you on the floor? Do I call 911? But she's in a different state. And I said, no, no. I said, Jesus. And she's, we laugh all the time. She came from very religious background, and
Mhm.
I'm this, whatever. I speak to energy and things like that. So our relationship is really fun because I'm so not structural and she was. And I said, oh my God, Jesus just came down and kissed my feet. I'm about to convert. And her thing was, oh my God, really? Don't convert. We love you just the way you are, a crazy Jewish woman. That speak to Jesus. And it was such a funny way, the way she said it. And
Right.
we both laughed, we like wanted to hug each other. I didn't know what it was gonna do for me. I knew that I just needed 2,000 pairs of them, and that I found something. Maybe for a minute or for 2 minutes, I didn't know. But I felt like there was light of hope. And the message, it's not even about this. The message is that God got you even if you don't have yourself, and the miracle that he is going to send to you is not going to be how you're praying for. I prayed for the pill, I prayed for surgery, I prayed for conventional option, but there was none, right? So, and I refused this gift for 4 months. So my message is, it's not about the gift. It's about that when we pray, make sure we pray with open heart, with open eyes, and the blessing could be right in front of us, but we don't recognize it. And I
Mm.
promise that if God answers that, I will share that this testimony that God didn't have me. I mean, I didn't have God, but he had me.
Mm. So I love that statement right there because I think a lot of people, when we're going through trying times, our faith is tested, right? Why? I don't know. You know, but I've been there. I have been there, and I think a lot of other people have walked that path and been there. Some people have given up totally, right? And something was said to me a long time ago. It was like, hey, in that moment that you're ready to give up, if you take that next step, everything that you're looking for is right there. And I think a lot of people give up before they take that next step. And I was
Oh,
almost,
I can tell you, I gave up. I
yeah.
felt broken and hopeless. I felt, and remember when we talked, and this woman, I was interviewed on a podcast, and we are having a similar situation, and she said, Irene, stop. You did not give up. You surrendered. And for me, that word, again, English is my second language. It was like, no, me, don't surrender. That meaning that was even worse than giving up,
Right, right.
right? Because surrender is like, I think a war, you wave the white flag and you like get captured. No, I will never be captured. I didn't surrender. I gave up. But she said, no, 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 you surrender in your prayer to the higher power.
Mm,
You gave that heaviness that you could not find a solution. And you said, God, now, universe, whatever, it's up to you. I cannot handle this burden anymore. I need help. And it was, and I mean, like, we literally cried together because both of us had this huge epiphany. And for me, it was even harder because I so depend solely on myself. Everyone in my life pretty much disappointed me or dropped me in the most difficult moment of my life. I had to struggle on my own, find the strength, the faith, and support system within myself, right?
mhm.
And so now through my journey, I want to be the voice for others that feel alone, right? I never leave my friends. I'm there till the end. I'm almost always feel like I'm more than I need to be there. They're doing things that, they're not supposed to, and I'm forgiving them because I don't give up so easily, right? I don't leave. Friendships are very important to me. I'm a very loyal. It takes a lot for me to be kicked out of your you know friendship or your house, so don't invite me. I will never.
No, that's very, very true. So going back to the socks, was it a neurological thing
Yeah.
that because you pointed to that strip And
Yeah.
I know there in some let's see, in some cultures, there's something similar to that, but it's that you put on the bottom of your feet, and what it does, it pulls all the toxins out.
Yeah, I know
Are you
it's that doesn't do that. So
okay?
the skin is the biggest organ, and it has the
Right.
most. It protects us from infections, from everything, right? It keeps all our organs together. So it has lots of sensory nerve endings, right? The skeleton, you
Mhm.
can see all of those, muscles and nerves going down. So what this does is it's a code, and um the moment it touches your skin, it triggers, it just basically turns on the light and say,
Mm.
okay, now work to your best abilities, right?
Uh-huh.
So what this do is told the neurology that was in pain, they could not handle, basically was in flight and fight, to say come down,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So what
Okay.
this does, this proprietary pattern, what it does, it takes the brainstem and your central nervous system that runs everything. It's like an engine in the car, and puts the oil in and fixes the light, whatever. I don't drive, the brakes, everything you need to do with your engine. That's
Uh-huh.
what it does. Put the water in the generator, whatever.
Right, right. So
So
it's
that's
making
a
sure
big
that
thing.
everything's lubricated and you know what I'm saying,
That's right.
working the way that it's supposed to. So it
Exactly. So that
primarily installs a binary code into your a corrective binary code into your nervous system or
so it's a
into
proprietary pattern. So the code
right,
is like QRQ. So it's this code triggers that respond, right?
right, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, so it puts it all into that balance, and 18 months of consistent wear. This technology helped my body recover permanent neuroplasticity. That means it healed itself
Uh-huh.
by optimizing that neurology, permanent, 18 months. And doctor told me I was going to be in a wheelchair.
See, I'm gonna have to get me some of those, man. So you're gonna have
Yeah,
to share, you're gonna have to let me know where I can find those.
absolutely. And I want to just let you know that there's nothing to do with pain. Every human being benefits. It actually started, this company started with the mission of helping the CEO mom. She was diagnosed with MS, and he said he's going to help her live a
Hmm.
better quality of life. And the friend that gave me this product also has MS. And that's what she was looking for herself. And the video she saw was a woman with MS, how it helped the stability and the movement, right?
Okay.
So, but what I'm saying to you is every person benefits from it. And then now we have like 10 more products that helps
Oh
with
wow. Wow.
optimizes your mood, right? If you need a little more joy in your life, or people with seasonal depression,
Hmm.
or there's a day that you don't feel optimal, or like, you feel like you're a little blue, put this on. No drugs. Ladies, you will love this. This one is Ignite. It optimizes your metabolism, burns calories while you sleep up to 25%. Defend optimizes your immune system. Every single human being needs to wear this. It does so much more. Happy to connect and share more. Freedom Patch is a gift that keeps on giving to me. I went to Europe and got myself feet issues at 3 different aspects of foot problem: Achilles tendonitis, heel spur, and plantar fasciitis. If you have one of those, I hope you never do. Your feet isn't dying. I have 3, and I just came from New Orleans. We did 20,000 steps a day,
Wow.
and
Okay.
minimum discomfort. These 2 things that I wore. And Victory, if you're athlete, you must wear this. You recovery time and muscle recovery, and the inflammation from working out, incredible. But if you just want to do better yoga, use it. This is really great. I People that have need extra help with movement and stability, and that like energy, right? A
Hmm.
peace patch, stress and depression. I mean, I took 3 different meds for depression. This is
Okay.
drug free, right? And this is the master technology. Everybody starts with that and add the other products, right? This is the same tech. It's all the same. It's just if people don't want to sleep in the socks or wear them 24/7, they can do a patch. You got sleep problems, REM sleep. I think there's like 85 million people struggling with
Yes.
sleep, if not
Yes.
more. And they are addicted to opiates for sleep. You got a drug-free problem. I mean, you have a drug-free option. And then we have a focus patch, laser focus for people that can't pay attention,
Hmm.
kids, different combinations. This is the future of wellness. And
Yeah,
that
I
gave me my
love
life
that.
back and gave me a mission, gave me a purpose and passion. And I promise God, if He blesses me, I will bless others.
See, I love that. I definitely love that. Irene, wow, such an amazing person. And like I said,
Mm.
I'm so fortunate and blessed to have you on the show to share. Not only did we had a conversation about with the world today, and to
Agree.
go on that journey with you in through your life and hear the miraculous things that have happened. It's just a true testament of having faith, right? And how God works in our lives. He's there when we think that we're not. Like you said, I gave up on you, but He never gave up on me because hey, I got you. Those words right there are so powerful.
And truly, He got me because He has not stopped delivering.
That's what I mean.
He has not. Every few months, there's something that I ask that He bringing to a provision bigger and better, right?
Right.
And it is have faith. And maybe you're in a struggle, and I always like to say to people when I do these things, you have not been buried.
Right.
You have been planted. So look at yourself like a seed because the seed, in order to grow, has to be put into the darkness, into the dirt, really
Yes.
deep into it. And then what happens? We have to water it,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
the water is the healing process. I had to forgive the car accident. I had to forgive the man that hit me. I had to forgive the girlfriend that left me, that was not there for me when I've been with, for her and her family for years to come. Like there had to be so much anger being left out in
Mhm.
order to be able to receive this blessing, right? God said, I'm going to send you something, but you can't do this in anger because you're going to have to help people that's struggling like you have to be their light and their strength. But I didn't understand it until now. So
Yes.
forgive yourself, right? That you may be struggling, but and forgiveness comes in the sense that you don't have all the tools, maybe, and the way you reacted and the way you put yourself in a situation. Yes, other people had input in it, but I had to learn that we also allowed it, right? The car accident we didn't allow, but there's layers and layers, and I start talking. I don't know when to be quiet because I feel like I have so much to say. And I want you to be okay with whatever you are, because wherever you are at this moment is your lesson. If you're rejoicing in it, congratulations, but make sure you share the rejoicement. But we forget to share the struggle, and the struggle is more important because there's millions of people sitting there and waiting to be inspired because they can't do it themselves. And if it wasn't the people that shared their stories, I wouldn't be here today. And I made promise to God that I will share my story on many platforms as many times a day as possible, because He gave me back. He
Right.
gave me back.
Right.
And if
He
He
gave
did
you
it, I
you
don't know
back,
what me back.
a
Yes,
different
me.
version of you, because
Yeah.
you've had to go through a transformation, right?
Yes.
And as
Yes.
painful as that transformation was, it's like I love that. I was talking with someone probably a couple of years ago, and this analogy fits perfect. It was as if you were a caterpillar going into a cocoon,
Yep.
right? And out came, throughout that transformation of growing your wings and things like people don't know because you're inside this cocoon, right?
That's
There's
right.
gushy mess that's inside of there. There's a transformation that you have to go through inside of this cocoon. Then the cocoon is protecting you from everything else on the outside while you go through this transformation. And all of a sudden, boom, it's time. And here you are. You've come out of this cocoon and you are the best version of yourself, right? You've gotten your beautiful wings. You've completely just transformed. Your body is different, and now you're in the world and you're exploring it from a different point of view,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And it's interesting, like I was sitting here and thinking everything you said, and then I just, read the grieving, right? We're grieving. I had to grieve the old
Yes,
Irene. I had to
yes.
grieve the dream that I had. I still grieve my salon because I used to open up the book and I was booked 3 months in advance. I had a
Mhm.
waiting list, and I had to grieve the emptiness that it created in my appointment book. And slowly had to replace it with appointments to changing people's lives, appointments to being on a
Right,
live,
right.
appointments to being on a podcast. And even till this day, I still, part of me still grieves that success. I have success in a different way, but allow yourself to grieve the old version of you, and embrace the new version of you.
You're
And
you are a walking, talking testimony on that one. You
thank
know,
you.
and this this world, this world needs more of you.
No, thank you. Right back at you. You're pretty awesome yourself, Tony.
Thank
and
you very
and you
much.
know what you have shared with me, you are a powerhouse. I mean, so many people in your situation also would not find, like, how do you find joy through so much tragic situations, right? So I
Like yourself,
appreciate
right?
you. Yeah, I appreciate you being the light. You're
I
our light.
appreciate I appreciate that, and like we talked about before, I appreciate those words. And I just want to add to it. So I always tell people, it's the contract that I must fulfill in this world. Like many of us, right? Um, when we identify our gifts in this world, no longer can we walk around, you know what I'm saying, and without giving it to those who need it, right? And so now, once you identify it, you have to have the realization that it is no longer yours. It is not yours to keep. I refuse to contribute to the graveyard. I refuse to take my gift to the graveyard, right? Because it doesn't belong there.
Yeah,
It belongs out into the world. So my
agree.
contract into this world is to individuals like you know what I'm saying, and others that I come across to. I am now obligated because I owe it to you. I owe it to you, right?
Yeah.
So that is my contract.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I owe it to share my story and inspire people to not give up hope, and let them know that on the other side of pain there's joy, and that, again, you have
Exactly.
not been buried, you've been planted for something so beautiful and amazing. And embrace the pain, because when you lean into it and not fight it, you'll get out of it faster. But you only know that until when you go through the pain. So, celebrate yourself every day, live life to the fullest. Giving up is not an option, right? You're an incredible, beautiful soul, and you meant to shine. So shine your light. And every day cannot be amazing, right? And I started kind of with that. I was sitting there in that restaurant having the most amazing time, right? Every day cannot be amazing, but there's something amazing in every day. And so
Yes.
focus on that something amazing, because we are so programmed to focus on the things thousand times more that are not working for us, and ignoring the things that are working for us. And
Mm.
remember, where you put your focus, that's what grows. So me, for the first time, focused that I lost the salon, focus that I don't make six-figure anymore, focus that I don't have love and I don't have a partner, and who's gonna love me and who's gonna do this and blah 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 blah. That's all the energy that I got.
Right.
Listen, it's not easy to see the light, but I tell people when I do in conversations every day, the dark is so dark. So imagine, create that light for yourself. See
Hmm.
it, pretend it. I don't know, fake it until you make it. Even though I don't like that, they don't like that phrase too much. But sometimes we must fake it into the make it, because when we send that positive mind messages, something triggers, right? We have to break the pattern of the same. So, if you're tired, you can't get out of bed and go lie down on the sofa, right? Like
Right, right.
move.
Well,
So,
I tell people, and I heard this from a quote and that actually served me well. So I actually share it with other people. I said, if you don't have the faith that you need to get through those moments, and when starting off with, it is okay for you to grab onto someone else's faith,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And
Mhm.
hold on to that until yours develop, right? It is okay because that faith is meant to be shared and passed along. So if you're not strong enough, if your faith is not where it needs to be, look at to the person to the left or to the right of you and see where their faith is. And if it's something that inspires you, hold on to it. Grab onto it. It's
Yeah.
okay to grow to hold on to someone else's beliefs, their faith, if it's strong enough, and that you can sink your hands into it and go, I am going to hold on to this until I am strong enough to develop my own.
Oh my God, you just gave me goosebumps, because pretty
Right,
much every single morning I say that to people. Let me be your strength. Let me be your light until
right,
you
right.
find yours. And I go
And I think
live
that's
every
what we all
morning,
do. Yeah,
every
that's what we
morning.
all do.
Yeah. And inspire people to say, I'm here for you, right? Like, you can do it right now. You know, somebody else we can help it. But that's why I encourage people to share the story everywhere.
Hmm.
Everywhere, share your story. This is not what I planned to do ever. Like, I was happy to be a hairdresser and promote someone else, but God gave me this platform to use my voice and
Right.
to encourage people in a different way. And I keep the promise. I say I don't mess with God.
But and even for those out there who have different beliefs or
Yeah, yeah,
anything,
yeah, of course,
I
God is
always
whatever
tell them
means
like,
for
hey,
you.
like if it's something that makes you a good human being that helps get you through, what I'm saying, the day-to-day struggles in life, you know, um, and it makes you have compassion and empathy for your brothers and sisters in this world, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
You don't
agree.
have to believe in the same things I
No.
believe in. You don't. You know what I'm saying? That's the beautiful part about this world. We can have the freedom of choice.
Yeah, yeah, and
Now,
figure out what works for you, and
and
it's fine.
figuring
There's
out what
many
works for
ways.
you, right?
There's many ways to the same door, right?
Yes, yes. There's many ways through it. Just I'm all for it if it makes you a good human being in this world. It's the problem that I have when it makes you a crappy human being.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? If what you believe in makes you a crappy human being, I'm not for it. Right?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But I'll never disrespect you because for one, who am I to judge you when I've lived my own set of sins in this world? Who am I to judge you? Who am I to say that you're wrong when I don't know?
yeah,
Right? I can
exactly.
only speak from the perspective of who I am and what has worked for me and what I feel that is right and what I feel that is wrong. Doesn't
Yeah,
make it doesn't make it, concrete. Doesn't make it at all. But these are
yeah,
mine. These are the
agree.
things that make me who I am.
And
And that
you're
gives us
beautiful.
I appreciate that. And
Yeah,
so are you. And
thank
look
you.
at you. You just celebrated your birthday. And
Yep,
you came
55,
in with a
baby.
smile on, and you know what I'm saying? It's been such an amazing conversation. And this is
I
what I mean about
agree.
this world and the opportunities that we have. And we talked about when we talked before. I was like, when I get off, I want you to be like, wow, that was an amazing conversation. Look at us. This is so amazing.
So
And
amazing.
so,
And I'm so grateful and your generosity to share your platform with me.
yeah, of
Thank
course, man.
you.
That's what this platforms are for. Is to be shared. It's to be shared not only with individuals like yourself, but with the audience as well,
Of
right?
course.
These stories will be around forever, long after we're gone. And I think that's the way that we write the stories in our books to share with other people, because no matter what, these stories will always be here, you know.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
with that being said, Irene, thank you for
Oh, thank
being on
you.
the show today. For those who will be tuning in or have tuned in today or will be tuning in later on, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And I appreciate all the support and love that you guys give us and the opportunities to keep bringing these amazing stories to you. And, if you guys want to support the channel, head over to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you'll be notified each and every time that we drop a new episode. Share it with someone that you think that can benefit from these conversations that we have. And just remember, always remember that these conversations are for educational purposes only. If you are struggling out there, go see a physician, explore the things that work for you, but also, keep in mind that, you have more than one option out there, and we wish you well. We wish you best blessings and things like that. And until next time, you guys keep your head up. We love you. Peace.